Hello guys, this is the Perpetuating Party of Patriots, and today we're doing another top 10 list. Now, this kind of idea has been in the back of my head and kind of in the idea bots for about 2 years now. Because, I kind of just realized, well, not really realized, but, okay, I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's just get on to what the topic of the video is about. Well, you can probably notice what it is by the title, but I might as well give a little decent, I guess, intro. Super Smash Brothers is one of my favorite fighting game franchises, and also probably one of my favorite franchises in games. While the community can be very toxic, they're just very fun games, in my opinion. And I'm talking about pretty much most of the series, although my two favorites and the ones that I have put the most time into and are some of my most played games are Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Now, while neither of them are perfect, these games are fun as fuck and are pretty huge parts of my childhood, and they're for the most part just really fun games and very solid ones in general. And and one of my favorite parts of just Smash Brothers in general are the stages, and yeah, there's a lot of really fun stages in the series. Although this list is for the most part just gonna, well, you probably noticed by the title, but I'm gonna be specifically talking about the stages in Melee and Brawl, like I kind of talked about in the intro. Now, am I saying that all of these stages are competitively viable? I am not, because I'm just going to be honest, I am not a competitive Smash player. I'm not going to lie, the competitive Smash scene does have some cool stuff in it, but I just don't think I'm really cut out for it, and I just usually play these games to have fun, so yeah, and I will kind of, and I will also kind of set some ground rules, well, this will mainly apply to one of the stages in the honorable mentions, but not all of these stages are necessarily the greatest to play on, necessarily. They're just ones that I personally really like, although most of the stages on this list are ones that I do think are at least decent to play on, but anyways, enough with the intro, let's get on to my number 10 pick for the stages. 3, 2, 1, los! And at the number 10 spot, we have the stage that belongs to the most broken character in the game. We have the Halberd, or just Halberd. Now, this is a moving stage, but unlike certain moving stages in the franchise, this one actually isn't a bitch to play on. Actually, it's pretty fun for the most part. Now, it is a little bit standard. It's basically just like kind of one platform in the air, and then one that you fly on to the Halberd itself, which is the ship. But it's kind of cool, and it is a little bit cinematic in a way, because I just like seeing the Halberd fly in the background, and I think it's pretty cool. And I also like I guess you'd say the giant ass red sky in the background. Although I think the best part of this stage is when you actually board the Halberd itself. I just found that part of the stage to be very fun to play on, and I also kind of like the gimmick with the giant claw that'll try to attack which will lock onto one of the players, and you gotta try to avoid the claw itself. But that's all I really had to say about it. It's just a fun stage to play on. Anyways, now on to my number 9 pick. And at the number 9 spot, we have Castle Siege. Again, this one is, I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's like the best stage ever, but I thought this one was very fun, and this one does belong to the Fire Emblem franchise. Now, I haven't really played much of the Fire Emblem games, but I've kind of been wanting to check them out because of, well, really, Fire Emblem's representation in the Smash series, and yeah, I think the stage, one of the best parts about it is just how fucking cinematic it looks and how cool it looks. Now, this is actually a transforming stage, which is very cool. I kind of like these stages that do evolve over time as you're fighting on them. The first part of the stage it's pretty fun. It is mainly just like one, I guess you'd say, line, and you have a couple platforms that you can fight on, and there's also kind of like a little bit of a war going on in the back. It looks pretty cool. And then there's the second part of the stage, which is probably my personal favorite one for some reason. I don't know. I kind of like some parts in stages where you get the break parts of the stage, but yeah, I just thought this one was kind of cool. Although the third part is kind of annoying. I'm just gonna be honest. Now it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I especially like the background of the stage, but I don't really like how the platform that you fight on kind of acts like a little bit of a seesaw, I guess I could say. But yeah, for the most part, this stage is very cool, and I also really love the music selection for this stage. I'm not gonna be talking about that a whole lot in these stage entries, but I gotta admit, the music on this stage in particular is very cool. Anyways, now on to move on to the number 8 pick, which might actually be a bit controversial. One thing I have surprisingly noticed in the Smash community is that this stage tends to get very hated on. The stage we are talking about is Jungle Japes from Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now, it also returned in Brawl, but it premiered in Melee. Now, I don't know why it's that hated, but okay, there are a couple minor problems that I have with the stage. Mainly just the rushing with the very fast-ass water. Because, yeah, it's like, Melee just didn't have the mechanic where you can swim in water, but Brawl does, but it's very fucking fast, and if you get caught on it, well, hope you like losing a life, but, yeah, or hope you didn't value that life a whole lot, and I guess the second minor problem I have with the stage is the random-ass claptraps that'll pop out of the water to bite your ass, and, yeah, that's pretty much an instant death, but other than that, I actually surprisingly really liked Jungle Japes. It's not the most interesting stage ever. It's kind of just like two platforms on the left and the right, and one big one in the middle with a cranky cone inside the home. But it could be pretty chaotic, and that is something I do like about it. Now, I know I kind of just criticized the Russian-ass water and the claptraps, but yeah, I just found this stage to be really fun to play on. I can't necessarily completely explain why, but I don't know, it's just sometimes, well, for the most part, this is actually one of my preferred stages to go to in Melee. Oh yeah, this is also home to the Ness glitch where if you put him on like level 9, he'll just suicide kill himself, but yeah, personally, I like the Jungle Japes. Now, yeah, I know it's kind of weird that this is the Donkey Kong stage, the one that I'm putting on this list, but don't get me wrong, there's other fun Donkey Kong stages in the series, but yeah, personally, I just like Jungle Japes, but anyways, now on to the number 7 pick. 3, 2, 1, go! Now, I haven't really played Super Mario Sunshine a whole lot. I hear kind of mixed reactions of the game. It seems like it's one of those love it or hate it type games, but one thing I can say, though, is that I love the stage that came from that game in Brawl, Delfino Plaza. Now, again, this is another moving stage, and when you know, it's also another one that's not a bitch to play on. It's actually very fun to play on. Now, basically what the stage revolves around is, you basically get to explore, I think, nearly every part of, well, Delfino Plaza and Super Mario Sunshine, and one thing I gotta say about the stage is, it looks very fucking good, and yeah, one thing I just gotta give Brawl in general is, it's a very pretty looking game. Well, at least in terms of the environment, say the art style is kind of mixed on it, but one thing I will give, though, is that the environments look very nice, and it's just very cool to travel around the stage, and like I said in the Jungle Japes portion of the video, if you can swim in Brawl, thankfully, and thankfully you can, because if they didn't have the ability to swim in Brawl, then the stage would probably be a bitch to play on, but it's not. Now, again, some of these portions are going to be pretty small, because I don't really have a whole lot to say about them, but yeah, I really like Delfino Plaza. It's just a fun stage to play on. Anyways, now on to the number 6 pick. Ready? Go! That is one scary-ass fucking moon in the back. Okay, a moon joke aside. Here we have Great Bay, which is, I think, the stage that came from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, I believe. Okay, again, another stage from a game that I haven't really played that much, but yeah, Great Bay is a very cool stage. Now, it is pretty simply designed, but it's simple but works. You basically get a couple of platforms which you obviously fight on, and there is one rock below one of the platforms, and yeah, sometimes I actually do like to fight on this part because it's kind of just fun to when you and an enemy are fighting and then you fucking hit them with a smash attack and they end up damage boosting off the bottom of the platform and end up falling in the water. But yeah, and there's also another platform in the stage that I also really like, and that is the turtle that will I think occasionally rise up. And yeah, now this would kind of be kind of an impossible thing to happen, but it would be kind of cool if you're nearly about to die at the bottom of the blast zone and then the turtle comes up and saves you. It'd be incredibly rare, but it would be cool if it happened. And yeah, just to focus on one part of the background of the stage, I did make a I did make a joke about the moon earlier, but one very cool detail about this stage is the moon from Majora's Mask does slowly but surely move down to Earth, and once it finally reaches to where it looks like it's going to destroy the Earth, the four giants end up pushing it back to, I guess you'd say, outer space. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool detail about the stage. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about Great Bay. It's a fun stage and a classic from Super Smash Bros. Melee. But anyways, now on to the top 5. Here we have one of the most unique stages in the Super Smash Bros. Series. We have Wario Inc. Now, given the name of the stage, this is the stage that is based on the WarioWare line of games. And I think the gimmick around the stage is probably why I love it so much. Basically, what you do in the WarioWare games is it's basically kind of like a mini game collection, and you have these kind of short little micro games, and you got to beat them in a certain amount of time. And well, the gimmick around those is that once you beat one of them, they get progressively harder and faster. But the stage in Super Smash Bros. Brawl revolves around, well, playing micro games. Now, the rewards you get from completing the micro games successfully are pretty fucking broken, and they're very RNG, but I just think the stage is really fucking cool to play on, and yeah, some of these micro games are pretty fun, I guess you could say as well, like the one where you have to taunt, or the one where you stay still. Yeah, I don't know why I liked those, but yeah, I just like the gimmick around this stage where you play micro games. That's all I really have to say. Oh yeah, and I also have to say something about the music portion of this stage. Yeah, it's another one where I really like the songs, particularly the one that's named after the stage, Wario Inc. Especially the second half of the song is very fucking cool. And the opening bit of the WarioWare Inc. medley is very cool to listen to. And I think this is also one of the few stages where they have both an English version of the tracks and a Japanese version of the tracks. Well, particularly for about 2 or 3, but yeah, I just figured that would be kind of interesting to mention. But anyways, now on to the number 4 stage. 3, 2, 1, go! And at the number 4 spot, we have my favorite Legend of Zelda stage in the series, Pirate Ship. Now, Pirate Ship is the stage based on the Legend of Zelda game The Wind Waker, and that game is pretty known for having the cel-shaded art style, which I think looks very good. And the stage represents that pretty well. Yeah, the stage is very pretty to look at, and yeah, I also really do like the gimmicks in the stage. Like, there is one part of the stage where you gotta make sure you don't run on the part, otherwise it'll launch you into the water. And then later in the stage, there's cannons in the back, and hope you like getting fucking blasted to death, unless you have actually good dodging. And there's also another part of the stage which I think is very cool, where I think a typhoon or a water tornado or whatever the fuck it's called ends up swooping by the stage, and it actually takes you in the stage into the air. And then obviously at the end you drop back to water. And yeah, I just think it's a very fun stage to go through, and thankfully you can actually swim in the stage, because this stage is very water-based. But yeah, again, that's all I really have to say about the stage. It's a very fun stage to play on. Anyways, now time for the top 3.
Ready? Go!
And at the number 3 spot, we have Coronaria, specifically the melee version. Now, if you're asking why I said specifically the melee version of Coronaria, it's because while yes, the stage did return in Brawl, they shrunk the stage, and I think it's kind of just worse than the melee version. So yeah, I'm specifically talking about its original game, but Coronaria is, well, like I've said about every other stage, very fun to play on, and this is probably the best Star Fox stage in the series, in my opinion. It's just, again, it's pretty fun. Now, basically, the gimmick around the stage is you fight on the Great Fox, or I think that's what the ship in the Star Fox series is called, but yeah, you do fight on top of it, and one of my favorite segments of the stage is, well, mainly when you get to fight on the back of the stage. I don't know, it's just kind of fun to fight on, and there's also parts in the stage where ships from, I think the Star Fox ships do end up flying. And, you can actually jump on top of them, which I think is very cool. And I think, at least in the adventure mode fight in the adventure mode in Melee, Star Fox's Fox's pals actually try to blast everyone to death on the stage, which, thankfully, they didn't include that in the regular stage to play in versus mode, because, I think that would make the stage kind of a little bit annoying to fight on, but yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Coronaria. It's just a fun stage. But anyways, now on to the numero 2 pick. And at the number 2 spot, we have one of the stages that belongs to the Cincy-ass Captain Falcon, Big Blue. Now, this is, I think, the only F-Zero stage that I'm actually including on this list. Well, obviously, but I really like Big Blue, as usual, and I know I've said it a lot. It's fun to play on, and this is one of the stages why I included that I'm not specifically talking about if they're turn illegal, because this stage was banned from, I think, competitive Smash, but it's fun to play on, because the gimmick surrounding this stage is basically just you're fighting in an F-Zero race. First, you start off on Captain Falcon's ship, the Big Blue, and it's okay to fight on, but the stage gets much, much better once the Big Blue itself goes away. And you basically have to make sure you jump around on cars, and it's just fun as fuck battling in an F-Zero race. And it doesn't just revolve around flying on or fighting on the cars. Because there are platforms that do randomly appear in the stage, and although one part of the stage that can be a bit annoying is when you get launched onto the road, because it's like, once you land on the road, you're fucking dead. But for most of these stages I don't have much to say, but I think I said all I wanted to. And also, the track that plays on Big Blue is very fun to listen to. It's not as good as Mute City, but it's a good track. But anyways, now on to the Honorable Mentions Rapid Fire Round. There's a reason why it's a rapid fire round, because basically I'm actually just gonna state what the stages are, what I do with honorable mentions, but I'll actually give a little piece of commentary for these ones. But, anyways, the honorable mentions are Fountain of Dreams, it's Battlefield, but it looks really fucking pretty. Mute City, and also Port Town Aerodive. They're basically the same stage, just Port Town Aerodive looks cooler. Own It, it has a drugstore. Temple, it's gonna be included in every fucking Smash game. Battlefield, it's Battlefield. Final Destination, it's Final Destination. Fourside, a very fun UFO to run on, and its track is very nice to listen to. Lilac Cruise, it's very cinematic to look at. 75M, for some reason I'm a weirdo that actually likes this stage. And the last honorable mention is Bridge of Eldin. It's very fun to fight on. That's all I really have to say. And my number one personal favorite stage from Melee and Brawl is Pokemon Stadium.
Ready? Go!
Yeah, I kind of just feel like I probably should put Pokemon Stadium number one because it's just one that I really fucking love playing on. And, Pokemon Stadium 2 isn't a bad stage, but I wasn't the hugest fan of how they actually altered the gameplay with each change one. Not that that's an inherently bad thing, it's just I didn't really feel like it was the most fun. But, Pokemon Stadium, the only thing it really does is just change the terrain you fight on, and I actually liked the changes of terrain that you fight on. And, I just think the stage also looks very cool, and, yeah, that's all I really have to say. Now, not the hugest fan of the Pokemon, at least anime, but the games and the stage are very fun. But, anyways, that's all I really have to say for this list, and see you guys in the next video, I guess.